Hey, ladies and gentlemen, it's Blackfinch here with the final of my promised Tier 5 premium tank reviews. Now, I apologise for the delay on these. I did record them all. In fact, I recorded them all in one evening, and I've managed to mash all together all of the others, but this one was in such a mess of multiple files that I decided, screw it, I'll start from scratch and record them all in hopefully one hit. So plenty of me rambling and going off on tangents and not getting to the point coming up, 100% guaranteed. If that's not what you're up for, then tough. So today I'm looking at the Matildas, the Matilda Black Prince, which is a Tier 5 British premium tank, and the Matilda IV. So, to sum them both up, they're like the Tier 4 Matilda. They're slow, reasonably well armoured, though being a tier higher, proportionately less armoured, just because they don't ever get to be top tier in a Tier 4 game, but they will never see Tier 7s, because they get preferential matchmaking. They're both 4-man vehicles, and compared to the Tier 4 variant, they both get a better-ish gun. In the case of the Matilda IV, it looks like, to me, a standard Matilda turret with the mantlet gun from a T34, like an early model T34, and it certainly is the 76mm ZIS 96. And the Black Prince was an experiment to fit a 6-pounder gun that wasn't called Matilda Black Prince. The Matilda Black Prince was an experiment to have a remote controlled Matilda, but they've given it the wrong name, but nobody cares. The Black Prince was an experiment to mount a 6-pound gun on a Matilda, so they enlarged the turret ring and put what looks like a Cromwell style or Churchill style turret. Now, the Cromwell would have been in development at this stage, so it could well be from that, with a 6-pounder mounted. I can't remember what the name of the precursor to the Cromwell was. That there is essentially a precursor to the Cromwell with the Leyland engine rather than the Meteor that the Cromwell later went on to have, and it had a 6-pound gun, so it could be the turret from that. If I remember what it's called, or if someone else out there knows, please put it down below, or I'll have it flashing up on the screen at some point. And so yes, so basically they're both slow, with kind of high rate of fire, low alpha damage guns, and okay armour. So really, I think the differences I will compare is the two tanks. So the Black Prince is the more expensive of the two. Both 610 hit points. Both have a 570 meter view range. The Matilda IV is the winner in terms of speed because it has a top speed of 25 kilometers an hour as opposed to the 22 of the Black Prince. It also enjoys 274 horsepower in its engine, which is the stock Matilda engine to the 190 horsepower of this Black Prince, which has the upgraded Matilda engine. Yeah, I don't understand why either, but we'll just say reasons and move on. They both have the same reverse speed limit. The Black Prince is the heavier of the two at Mind. Comes in at 30.4 tons, versus this comes in at 27.4 with all the jazz on it. And this one is a bit more upgraded. I was being cheap. And in the name of fairness, I feel I should point that out. If it comes to hiding, this is going to be the stronger tank. Both have the same crew layout: commander, gunner, driver, loader. In terms of armour, the Black Prince technically is more armoured The hull is exactly the same, 75, 70, 55 on both, but this has 76mm as opposed to 75mm of frontal armour on the turret. But if you look at this, it's nice and curvy. So really, the winner is this, and this also has 75 at the side and rear, whereas the other one has 63 and 57. But I mean, these are minor things. I mean, that's easier to angle that turret, but that's the only perk. Versus the Matilda IV turret, if you angle it, it becomes vulnerable here very, very quickly. But so unsurprisingly, with the weighing less and bigger, better horsepower from the engine, that doesn't have a 9.9 horsepower per ton as opposed to the 6.3 of this. Both have the same traverse speed. Both, in terms of soft stats, they're climbing, hard, medium, and soft terrain resistance are both pretty much the same. There's not much in it. Both have the same chance of an engine fire. Both have the same view range. The turret traverse is basically the same on both. The only difference we have now is that this has a higher rate of fire on the gun, 110 millipen, but a very, very poor alpha at 75. This has the lower rate of fire, but 86 pen, so pens less, but 110 alpha. Also, the Black Prince, to save you doing the maths, has 1956 damage per minute as standard. Mine's slightly better because they've got sisters in arms, there's vents on it, and a rammer for maximum gun performance. Now I could fit me a enhanced gun laying drive to increase the aim, but it's a fairly accurate gun. I'm not sure what third thing I'd put on if I didn't have a toolbox. Probably that. Yeah, but so yeah, that's got as stock with 100% crew. It's got 1956 damage per minute. The Matilda IV has 1776 with less pen, so has a less capable gun, but it's more mobile. I think probably the weakness of this tank is mobility, and on this it's a much, much lesser weakness. But we'll play a game of both, and we'll see how they perform. So I've started with the Matilda IV, and I've got Sand Nice. But it's a very tier 5 game. There's only 2 non-tier 5s on either team. They snuck in at tier 4, we've got none. So I'm going to now whine and complain for 20 minutes at the start of the game about the matchmaker being broken and how we've got no chance, and I'm not going to be an asset to my team at all. I'm just going to be a real pain. Or I could just go on and play the game, which is probably what I will do. I'm sure there'll be someone else that does. But maybe not at this tier. If this was a tier 9 game, that would be going on. So far, no comments about Jamaica. I think nobody's noticed. I'm not going to mess about. I'm in a Matilda. I'm not fast. I'm just going straight towards them. Like the T25, these two Matildas do have a prolific number of hit points. You look the Type T34 in there. Poor man driving that horrible vehicle. T34 amazing. Type T34 toilet. But like the T25, this has got a lot of hit points, 610 as opposed to the 450 of my teammate ahead. It doesn't have quite his mobility, though. I'm doing 20. I'm going up a hill now and it's sandy, so you can't expect miracles. Yeah, I suspect your life will be short. There's not many of us going this way, and I can see that there's a hard cap forming at our base. Plans for H that I don't pen. or get any more chances to pen. This gun doesn't have good penetration. I could have loaded premium there. I chose not to. Type T34 doesn't like life and has gone on all by himself. This has a very poor velocity, this gun, but can't fail to hit that the first time at least. All subsequent times can definitely fail to hit. Now our M2 medium is realised he's on his own. This is a moment where I'm actually glad of having the binos, because this doesn't have a great view range and the camo net. Because I'm not being shot back at, which says I haven't been seen yet. I'm doing an awful job of leading shots today. It's a bit better. Tracked him. We'll see if we can't. Of course, the shot goes really high and does nothing. Low damage roll. And now I'm spotted. Time to get down with that T67. Now, if I try and swap shots with these guys, I'll lose because there's two of them. I didn't expect that to go through, I won't lie. Oh, who would let that get through? Ooh, he's got friends. My health pool means that one hit's probably not made the most difference in the world, but there's probably a T67 coming up on me right now. It's in my best interest to... As promised, T67. Where is it? It's going to be curtains at this point. Let down more by my team. I mean, they're all camping there, but no one's come to help. And I can't see that there was much action going on in the middle. But we are ahead. I've killed a couple, and I've done 500 and something damage. You'll see there that I had the potential to do more damage if my gun was more accurate. The shell velocity was higher because it would have made those... I mean, I did a bad job of pre-aiming. I haven't driven this in a long time, so I haven't really got the feel for the gun. But higher velocity means there's less of a learning curve on things. But yeah, I mean, if the gun were better, I'd have had more success in that range fight, and they might not have got as close, and I might have survived. But I didn't really. It's not mobile enough that I was up there supporting the admittedly suicidal teammates in the early game. And I don't think I bounced a tremendous number of shots. I can see one bounce from the T67 in the entire lot. So the armour really doesn't hold up against TFIs. Most things have got 100mm pen up, with the possible exception of one of these. If these two of these at long range sniping each other, could be a long battle. Actually, the Matilda at tier 4 has a better gun. But anyway, rather than making you watch my team slowly lose this game, as I predict will happen, I'm going to skip to the next game. So, as predicted, that game was a loss. I did plenty of spotting, 554 damage. That put me first place on my team, with 2 kills. We had a fairly inept T67. It was fair. To be fair to the player, he's fairly inept that game. He has a mark of excellence on his tank, so he obviously knows sort of what he's doing with it. It could be that he was having an off day, but he was just... It didn't work with our other survivors when... But by that time, the team had left him in an untenable position. And their team had a really strong T67. Actually, he's the guy that finished me off. So, well done to him. And their Bishop had a stunning game. It's a horrible, horrible thing to play. I skipped it. I played one game and went no. So, shots fired 19, hits 10. I mean, a little bit of that was my inability to use the gun. But a lot of that was that the gun's really inaccurate. And then of those 10, only 6 penned. So 19 to 6 is not the best shot to penetration conversion rate. all my damage was at a range of over 300 meters, which is not the strong point of this vehicle. As I said, I only bounced one shot, which was from the T-67. 115 damage blocked by armor. So, gives you an idea of what to expect. Now, on the plus side, 28,600 credits for a loss is quite good for a tier 5, very good, and that's that perk of premium. I've said it in all of the other reviews. The other thing is, I can stick a good Soviet tank crew in, and I have my T-54 crew in on this one. So the Black Prince, which also has a good crew, and girls who sound very manly when you play the game, I will play now, and let's see what we get. So we've got another game as top tier. It's Lakeville, which actually probably suits the Matilda tanks better. This time, they've got one more tier 5 than us. Boom. Cue another rant about Matchmaker. I mean, thankfully, players down at these tiers aren't so fast. But if we lose, I will blame the Matchmaker. Incidentally, for any of those that wonder why I'm playing with XVM but don't have stats turned on, it's because I like enjoying the game. And I found that when I was scrutinising players and reviewing game likelihood, etc., I wasn't having as much fun playing, and the purpose of a game to me is to have fun. So I like to be blissful in my ignorance. And having studied about 1,000 games played without compared to 1,000 games played with, I've had a better performance without. Now that probably because I've got better because they were the games I played second, but it's also a sign that it doesn't make a world's difference knowing. Rarely you get those opportunities to pick on players. Anyway, I promised rambling tangents, so that was one. This is not as quick as the other Matilda. In fact, it's just not quick. You're going to lose in a race to a Churchill. That's the kind of speed you're at. In fact, there's a KV-1 coming up past me, and there's a Churchill proving my point on the inside. But if you think of this as being a heavy tank, then you're not too far from the mark. You're probably better off with if you were after a tier 5 heavy tank and had the kind of vehicles to support it. A Churchill 3 is almost certainly a better bet for you than this thing, because I mean, there's already fighting going on and I'm trundling along. Though the Churchill in KV-1 have obviously decided that there's no way they can beat a medium in the race and they've given up. That, or they saw something red and got all excited. It is the tier 5 where anything could happen. Actually, it's why it's my favourite tier, because the games at higher tier tend to be a bit formulaic. There's a good likelihood that something's going to go where you see it. That missed, but it was an unaimed, chancy shot rather than something I expected to hit. I'm not going to take it to be a damning indictment of the weapon's accuracy. They are having a good old camp, their team, and our team is bleeding tanks at the moment. Should get this guy before he escapes. It's one loss recuperated. KV's coming out behind me. I'm happy for him with his nice health pool to take points, his good armour. Take points. Point.
We've damaged them.
It's a trap!
Permission to engage. That one didn't go through. We didn't penetrate their armor. Target unlocked.
He's got a good health pool for a medium at this tier. There's a Matilda shooting at me as well, but my armor's holding up to that.
Enemy armor is hit.
I need someone to help me, really, because
Penetration. We've damaged them.
I mean, I'll out damage per minute him, but it's going to cost me loads more health than I want it to.
Enemy armor is damaged. Enemy is hit.
He will eventually learn that I get 2 hits to his 1.
Got him.
I had to use the damage per minute there and sacrifice a heck of a lot of health because that Panzer IV gun's going to go through me every time. I'm lucky to have got a couple of bouncers versus their Tilly, which is somewhere back here. It might not have the top gun. I'm looking at his health pool. I think it probably hasn't. It probably hasn't got the top turret. If that's the case, I feel sorry.
It's a trap.
Our heavies are pushing up, so I'm going to join them. Wouldn't want to be on alone on this low health in a tank that's got no mobility, but
We've damaged them. Penetration. It's a trap.
angle and hope,
Enemy armor destroyed.
which was nice. And our team somewhat turned this round, but
Enemy armor is damaged. It's a trap.
our cap looks really rather threatened, and I'm slow as you like, so I'm going to head. No, I'm going to head to the middle. I was going to head back, but I'm going to head to the middle. See what I can do to snipe things and make a difference. Because I mean, there's the danger of a crossfire from that Panzer IV, admittedly. That would have been a lovely effect.
It's a trap.
There he is.
Enemy is hit.
He's got the howitzer, so he's not very
That one
accurate,
didn't go through.
but he could easily kill me off. Oh gosh.
It's a trap.
I'm not really expected to do anything to a KV-1 at this range. But he's a bit fixated on our KV-1, it looks like. Panzer IV's gone. I got no little choice. I don't have any premium rounds loaded. I don't know why I don't have any premium rounds loaded, but I don't. So that's not an option. Ooh, side of turret, maybe. Now the rate of fire on this is so good that you aren't fully aimed when you fire it. If you hold the gun down, so really, unless you're at point blank, you will never get to use that damage.
We didn't penetrate
Really
their
good
armor.
damage per minute. My odds of going through here are
We didn't even scratch them.
next to none, but we've got someone on the cap circle at their end. There's no harm in trying. These shells aren't expensive. His view range is diabolical.
We didn't penetrate their armor. We didn't even scratch them.
Let's see if I can run out of shells before the end of the game. There we go! And this was a win. I picked up 4 kills and did good damage. It was a first class mastery. And some medals that are inconsequential, really. Didn't do nearly as much spotting damage. I don't have the binos on this. So, here, 42 shots fired, 24 hits. 16. A slightly better conversion ratio, but not a lot. A lot of those misses were because of the brawling situations I was in, and because I was shooting at the turret of a KV-1 at extreme long range. This isn't really indicative of the gun, but it's still not an amazing gun. But it did do a lot more damage. The map and the scenario allowed it, and a few bounces this game, which was nice. And again, the two have got relatively similar hulls, so that shows it off slightly better. Our Type T-34 had a very good game. I feel sorry for him because he's got a T-34 that he's cruelly had the gun depression stolen for no really apparent reason. Churchill had a very good game, sitting in camping at the back. Spartan Steel Wall, so well played to him. He was teamed up with the KV-1. So, yeah. So comparing these two tanks, auto resupply ammunition. Yeah, I should really have been spamming all those shots into that KV at the end. That probably cost me a lot, but because that'll sit there bored. So, if I'd have used a lot less ammo, yeah, it was a 40k game, so I'd have made some credits there. They've got a very similar credit multiplier, these two vehicles. Between the Matildas, depending on the map, I mean, the map really dictates which is the better. Smaller maps, this one perhaps comes into its own because it gets more opportunity to use its gun and its damage per minute, because it doesn't take as long to close with the enemy. On a bigger map, this is probably the better vehicle. Not always. And again, on a map where you don't have to go far to get to the action, then I would choose the Black Prince. But it depends on the composition of your team, the opponents, etc. There's very little in it. To be honest, if I was picking between these two, and I would only really consider these two if I was on a budget and I wanted a low tier premium, and I was either going up the British medium line or one of the two Soviet medium lines. If I get rid of that. Now I've reviewed the T25, the Excelsior, and the two Matildas, the Su-85I. If I had to pick one between all of those as the best vehicle, it would probably be the Su-85I. The Churchill 3 is also worth a look in. The KV-220 is beastly if it ever comes on sale. It's wrong. Wrong with a capital every single letter. But generally, you don't buy a premium vehicle, or you shouldn't buy a premium vehicle, entirely based on how good it is. You buy it based on how good it is at supporting you. So if you're going up the British medium line and not the British heavy line, then obviously the Black Prince is preferable to the Excelsior. If you're going up the heavy line and not the Excelsior is the choice for you. If you're one of these people that plays everything, then good luck to you. But if you're playing German mediums, T25, if you're playing Soviet tank destroyers, the Su-85I, that is my favourite of them. But then I have a soft spot for tank destroyers, so maybe that's not fair. But anyway, enough rambling. I hope this review and the others before it were insightful. I will try to do some more, and I will try to do some reviews of other tanks. Again, as I say, any requests, please pop them below, and it'll be first come, first serve on requests. I hope to see you guys on the next video.